In a logical world where bigger is better, when it comes to wristwatches, men's prefer smaller as being better. But what happens when smaller becomes way smaller? How do men's solve this? And with this occasion, my Explorer became the target of many jokes, which some were reproduced by myself. But before we address the elephant in the room, I want to tell you how I failed once again to buy one of my grail watches, ending up with this unexpected Rolex Explorer purchase. When you have a lot of friends, watch enthusiasts around, or you're part of sell or trade groups, you will always find good deals on wristwatches. You always have the chance to experience new watches or brands, therefore the watches are coming to you, you don't have to chase them. And this is a thing that I concluded a couple of months ago, that I often buy what it's offered to me and not exactly what I really want. So I made myself a promise that I will sell some watches, save some money, research, choose and buy one of my grail watches, strictly for my soul. Precisely a Jaeger LeCoultre Reverso Duo Face or the Santos de Cartier Large. Now, when I started to save money, the more I was saving, the more appealing the opportunities were. The journey was tough and tempting as usual, but this time I was consistent and firm. I denied the Rolex Milgauss straight from the AD, a new Grand Seiko Diver, a Breitling Super Ocean, a Panerai and others. I was determined to chase my dream. However, when I got close to the proposed saved amount, I realized that the GLC Reverso Duo Face was unobtainable for now, being around 9,000 euros. Changing my focus was the Santos de Cartier Large. This one was about to be a blind purchase as I never seen one in flesh. In reality, I was looking for a practical, elegant, dressy, iconic timekeeper. Luckily, a friend of mine went to Harrods to collect his green bezel Black Bay, and with this occasion he acted as my eyes and my wrist, trying my desired large Cartier. And the conclusion was that 39.5mm on a square case wears like a 42x42, so it was a no-go from my side. And my entire attention went towards the medium size. And exactly when I decided to buy myself a mid Santos de Cartier, not being still satisfied by the practicality of it, immediately the devil from my left shoulder whispered to me, "Psst, don't you want the Rolex Explorer 1 which your friend just listed for a good price instead of the Santos? It's the same size, is more practical, has lume and has a better value retention." And obviously my analytical mind won once again. Instead of listening to the heart, I bought the tiny Rolex Explorer 1. What have I learned from my previous experiences? Nothing. I bought once again what it was offered to me instead of what I really wanted. The Explorer 1 needs no introduction. This is one of the most iconic designs all time, but all time. In fact, I have in mind at least 5 brands that inspired their creations across history based on the Explorer 1 combo with the numerals at 3, 6 and 9 o'clock and the triangle on top. Even Tudor make the Black Bay bronze on the same dial layout, or the newly revived Ranger. The Explorer 1 is part of the capable, small-sized, good-looking and comfortable niche, with simplistic but effective dials. And here we can remember the success of the Seiko Sarb 033, which is based on the same watch profile as the Explorer. And unlike other sport Rolexes, this is probably the most discreet luxury watch that you can wear without the worry to be spotted or labeled. A tiny little gem that stays hidden under your cuff, being occasionally available for your eyes only. Now let's address the elephant in the room and see if the Explorer 1 is a ladies' watch or a tool for men's. I did a small survey among my friends, watch enthusiasts or amateurs, and 7 out of 10 people associated the size and the shape of it as being a ladies' watch rather than a men's one. All the ladies were like, "Oh, I think it's perfect for me," where the men's were like, "Such a shame, it's too small, not worth the money." So it's kind of true. Unfortunately, because its size, the Explorer 1 is not big enough to join Wristlandia, which represents in my illustration the trending 30-42mm generic preference in watches today. Could it be because of the small dial, the thin lugs case shape, or the taper of the bracelet? I don't know, but one thing I know. The history of Rolex is split in different periods, and probably the most important chapter is the segment 1953-1967, which we can identify it as the golden period of Rolex because of the iconic models launched, the Sub, the Daytona, the Sea Dweller or the GMT Master. But what is important, the golden period started with the Rolex Explorer 1 consisting on a pre-model with arrow markers which conquered the Everest alongside a Smith's wristwatch. The Explorer 1 was followed by the reference 6150 model, which featured the iconic dateless 3, 6 and 9 numerals. The triangle on top, Mercedes hour hand, a pencil minute hand, and the seconds lollipop. This model is recognizable after the bracelet without end links, which was adopted by the pre-actual Tudor Ranger model. So the short historic introduction is the perfect conclusion that the Explorer was committed to a purpose, to be a robust timekeeper for mountaineers, and knowing the size trend back in the 50s, 36mm was a common size for men's. So I would conclude that if the original purpose or the DNA of the Explorer was made for outdoor activities dedicated mostly for male activities and adventurers, I can't see the modern Rolex Explorer as a proper ladies' watch no matter what the 7 out of 10 people said about it. Because we're not talking about a model which is offered in two sizes, like the Datejust to say, yes, the 36mm version fits better or is dedicated to ladies, where the bigger one is strictly made for men's. It's not just one size, it's the original size, the right size. And referring to the DNA of the Explorer, if we look at the Sub, the Daytona and the GMT Master, the actual models, they're pretty far from the original ones. The modern oyster cases and the materials used makes them modern and refined. Where the Explorer alongside the Datejust are the only two vintage-inspired watches which remain faithful to the original models. Indeed reimagined with modern finishings, but shape and identity-wise very classy. The shape of the Explorer has the side profile rounded on a wave shape. It is arched from the tip towards the center and then becomes thicker below the crown and then arched again. And this is a vintage oyster case particularity, where if we compare it with the Sub, the profile is perfectly straight also from the top to the bottom. And this is something unusual for Rolex, because in general they are advancing design and technologically wise, where the Tudor is today their throwback brand to look at the best. So I did a video at the beginning of my YouTube journey where I discussed about the evolution of Rolex oyster case, and I'm pretty sure I will reiterate that episode. And speaking about technology, the Explorer 1 with the reference 124270 is capable, small, and able to withstand any circumstances as it was originally purposed. Inside we have the automatic caliber 3230, obviously a superior movement with better specs and spot-on accuracy. With 70 hours power reserve, a paramagnetic blue parachromed hairspring, and Paraflex shock absorbers, ensuring a 50% increase in shock resistance while maintaining chronometer performance. And as performance, I can confirm, with the watch on the wrist, the Explorer kept its precision remaining at 0 seconds in 7 days. And then later on, when the watch started to lose more and more power reserve, not being winded or worn, it started to lose accuracy. And jumping into the highlight of this watch, the iconic Explorer dial layout is kept for around 70 years. In time, the numerals have changed to ensure an interesting symmetry. They basically readjusted the format of the 3, 6 and 9 numerals to fit into a block or a rectangle, which in this case the other markers are made in a way to fit in the same shape as I'm showing it in this sketch, the ultimate goal being to create the perfect symmetry. And as legibility, the loomed layout is immediately recognizable. There is no room for error. No matter the light or the weather conditions, you can simply spot which one is the hour hand or the 12 o'clock marker. And besides the chromalite loom, the applied white gold accents are creating a great refined contrast with the deep black lacquered dial. It is simply beautiful. And I think I missed to tell you how I got the watch. Basically the watch, believe it or not, wasn't purchased from my local AD, as I decided not to play the Rolex game because I realized that I cannot afford it. I'm tired to pump money into Rolex ADs just to be able in time to grant the opportunity to put my name on the list for a GMT Master 2 or a Daytona. Not to buy one, just to qualify to put my name on the list. What I wanted to tell you is that this game is very costly. To be able to qualify for the mentioned models, you have to spend from $50,000 to $100,000 on unwanted models. And for this reason, recently I denied an offer from the Rolex AD for the Milgauss, which is currently priced at 8,700 euros, and I obviously said no way. So both my Subno Date and the Explorer were purchased from friends, watch enthusiasts for good prices, and I'm honestly planning to upgrade some of the models if I have the chance. So no more ADs for me. And as jokes between Rolex collectors, the Explorer line is a rogue branch, not being, let's say, as popular as the sports model. So historically there is a bit of friction between the show-off Rolex models versus the less popular ones. But sometimes it's the opposite and the popular models aren't able to open all the doors, as I did in this illustration. Now on the wrist the watch is discreet, as I described it, for your eyes only. The weight is very good, the oyster bracelet is comfortable and typical for a Rolex. But still I kind of feel the need to uplift or boost the size of it with a strap with presence. And since the Explorer is a strap monster and works on all sorts of combos, on NATO I think it works the best because it adds more presence on the wrist, it makes the watch to look taller and potentially longer. So I am really glad to present you a few NATOs which I received from Armilla straps. I was 100% that the grey one-piece NATO will be the solid companion for my Explorer. But in reality the black stripe bone strap fits way better the color and the dial accents of the watch. And I like a lot the quality of the straps, they are thin, comfortable, the quality of the buckles is solid and the prices are spot on. In general I do not wear NATOs, but since I received these straps I'm wearing the Explorer only on this combo. And surprise, Andre from Armilla was good with us and he prepared a discount code with the label BraveBeaters15. So once you add the desired straps to the cart, you can input BraveBeaters15 in the coupon code area and you'll receive an extra 50% off. So Armilla straps, the link is in the description. And yes, it's true, I was drawn into the Explorer magic. I think this all-in-one platform is amazing and the design itself could have been easily my new favorite wristwatch. But because of the size I still have mixed feelings about it. And I'm unsure if I'll need to sell it and grab one of my grails, or maybe keep it and save some money and grab eventually one of my soul watches. And probably time will tell if it will remain superlative or not. But one thing is sure, this video is already long, so I'll probably make an in-depth review once I have the chance to spend more time with it. Apparently there are a lot of things to discuss about this Boy Scout Explorer. But until then, I'm really curious to know what do you think about this 36mm sizing. Is it too small or exactly as it should be? Please let me know in the comments section. And as usual, if you're new here, please consider subscribing for future updates. Thank you very much, thanks for watching, and until next time, be brave, bud!